Good afternoon, pre-K friends. I told you that I had another book to share by Carle. It's called Mr. Seahorse. It won the Laura Ingalls Wilder Award, which is a different award than the Caldecott, which we've talked about before in our classroom. This is a seahorse. The seahorse lives in the sea, which sometimes, or in the ocean. It lives in salt water. Let's read the book together. Are we ready? Okay. Can we see the words? Let's just, I think that'll look better, and I can read. Mr. and Mrs. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea. Mrs. Seahorse began to wiggle and twist this way and that. Can you wiggle and twist? Thank you. Nice work. I love the colors in this book. It's time for me to lay my eggs, she said. Can I help? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Oh, yes, thank you, said Mrs. Seahorse, and she laid her eggs into a pouch on Mr. Seahorse's belly. Let's all touch our bellies. I'll take good care of our eggs, said Mr. Seahorse. I promise. Isn't that nice? As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a group of trumpet fish hidden in a patch of reeds. Can you find some trumpet fish in this patch of weeds? Wow, they were really camouflaged, weren't they? Let's put them back in that patch of weeds. So pretty. Let's turn the page. Ooh, more pretty colors. Can you see? Okay. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Stickleback? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Delighted, replied Mr. Stickleback. I just built a nest and right away, Mrs. Stickleback laid her eggs into it. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. Well, keep up the good work, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. Seahorse, Stickleback. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by. What do you think's in there? A lionfish hidden behind a coral reef. Oh my goodness, do you remember in September when we first started, we made coral? It was a long time ago. It's a nice memory of mine. There he is. The lionfish was hidden behind the coral reef. Another amazing job of camouflaging. Do you remember what camouflaging was? It's when the body of the animal matches the environment so it can't be seen. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by several leaffish hidden among the seaweed. Can you see the leaffish in the seaweed? Yeah. How about now? Can you see it now? Pretty blue leaffish. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Curtis? Asked Mr. Seahorse. I am perfectly fine, replied Mr. Curtis. Mrs. Curtis laid her eggs and I have stuck them on my head. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. You are doing a good job, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. Oh, look, he's He's upside down looking at him. You can do that in the ocean. Have you ever swum upside down in the lake or in the ocean or in your pool? Can't always do that on land, can you? As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by. Oh, what do you think it is? A stonefish hidden behind a rock. Pretty cool, right? Oh. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Pipe? This must be Mr. Pipe. Asked Mr. Seahorse. Couldn't be better, replied Mr. Pipe. Mrs. Pipe laid her eggs along my belly. Belly, belly, belly. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. I love all these daddies taking good care of the eggs. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. You should feel proud of yourself, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. There's lots of fish in the ocean today, aren't there? How are you, Mr. Bullhead? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Tip-top, replied Mr. Bullhead. Mrs. Bullhead laid her eggs and the eggs hatched. Do you remember what hatched means? It's when the eggs come out of the shell and then they live outside of the egg. Chicks hatch. Apparently, so do bullhead fish. Yes. Let's see. Mrs. Bullhead laid her eggs and the eggs hatched. Now I'm babysitting. You are doing a good job, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. They hatched. The time had come for the seahorse babies to be born. Mr. Seahorse wiggled and twisted this way and that. At last, the babies tumbled from Mr. Seahorse's pouch and swam away. One baby turned around and tried to come back into the pouch. Oh no, said Mr. Seahorse. I do love you, but now you are ready to be on your own. The end. Thumbs up if you liked this book. Thumbs sideways if it was okay, but maybe a little too long for you. Thumbs down if you did not like this book. Post that on the comments for this book. See you soon, friends. Bye-bye.